Well, good morning, fellow campers. Here we are at Lake Superior Provincial Park. It's Thursday, July 16th. Drove just over 12 hours and 25 minutes to get here. And this is my first look, other than a few glimpses on the highway, at the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Anybody who's a fan of Canadian folk music would recognize that line from the infamous song The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. And actually, that point you see down there, about 5 miles off of that point, is where the Edmund Fitzgerald lays in about 530 feet of water. And interesting fact, the 29 souls who perished are still down there because Lake Superior is so cold, the body doesn't decompose, and so there's no gases that form to bring the bodies to the surface. So they don't allow anybody to dive down there anymore. They treat it like a burial spot, and I guess that's the closest I'll ever be to the shipwreck. But looking forward to the coastal trail. I've been inspired, I guess, by a couple of guys online. Kevin Outdoors and Woods Walker have both done this, and I've watched their videos and they seem to have a great time. So I'm tackling it solo, and we'll get into more about the plans and where I'm going to try and stop every day a little later on, because right now I'm just anxious to get going after a long drive, get the muscles working again. And obviously, because I'm a little bit sleep deprived, I'll probably be just taking my time and kind of poking my way along. So we'll see how far we get, and hopefully we'll be able to show you a bit of the trail. But that's beautiful Lake Superior out in front of us, and that's where I'm heading, down towards that point. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. So first break of the day. It's I started at about 9:40, and I've hiked past the first 4 sets of campsites that are on the easiest section of the trail. It was fairly flat, fairly easy going. There was a couple of bridges you had to cross to go over some marshland, floating bridge. Took pictures of all that. One of the things that the trail does is at points it runs very close to the highway. You might be able to hear the noise of the traffic because I'm fairly close to it right now. And there's 4 points where you have to go out and do cross the bridge on the highway over different rivers. So the first one was the Agawa River, and I took pictures of that. I wasn't going to do any video because the idea of standing on a narrow shoulder when traffic is buzzing by you at 100k isn't my idea of fun. But, it was pretty picturesque anyway. So this section here that you'll look over and see here, that's where it's supposed to get gnarly. So from the Agawa River to Sinclair Cove, which is the other side of that point. I believe that's Agawa Point there. And there should be a couple of campsites there. But Sinclair Cove to the Agawa River, it's 6K. And the trail markers say it takes you 7 hours. Most people do it in 4 or less, so we'll see. I'm about 35 minutes since I crossed the Agawa River, so the fun's just going to get started now. So hopefully take some video of that different section of trail. This part you've been in the woods quite a bit. It is damp. They got a lot of rain overnight, but the bug level isn't too bad. I mean, the mosquitoes are there. It's northern Ontario in July, but they're not atrocious by any means. So hopefully that bears well for the rest of the trip. So far so good. Just gonna have some more water here and get hiking again, and try to give you times it takes to get from one place to another. I mean, I'm 58 years old and in decent shape, but with COVID and everything going on and all the gyms being closed, the most exercise I get is pushing a golf cart. So and obviously, as I mentioned earlier, being sleep deprived, the energy levels are going to be a little bit lower today. So it's going to be a slow and steady kind of pace just to see how far I can get. I'd like to get to the other side of Sinclair Cove. That's kind of the goal. And but we'll see if I tap out at Agawa Point. I tap out there. I mean, I've got lots of time. You know, would just mean a longer day tomorrow when I'm well rested. But if the energy level's still up, by the time I get there, I'll push through and try to get to the other side. So stay tuned. There's some interesting things ahead. Nice little section. I just came out from the trail here to sit and have a break and have some water. And you know, you've got the bigger boulders and then down to the smaller sized, you know, kind of boulders, and then the more like cobbles. So that's pretty indicative of the shoreline at different points, and then obviously looking out upon the beautiful lake, and I believe that's Montreal Island in front of us there. And I would have started over there at that great big sandy beach. So that's how far I've come in about, well, I've been here about 15 minutes now, so it was probably about an hour and 20, hour and 25 to get to this point. So anyway, stay tuned. Looking forward to the rest of today, and just keep them fresh. Well, it's, what time is it? 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm at the last campsite at Agawa Point. Would have liked to call it here, but on a scale of 1 to 10, this campsite's about a -8. I don't even know if I could find a place to set up the hammock. I mean, great view though. Look at that with the Agawa Islands out there. You can't beat that. Pretty spectacular. Problem was I lost the trail for a little bit and spent the better part of 45 minutes searching for it, and then I just came across all those boulders there. So if we look at the map, get it down there, I started down here at the visitor center, and now I'm at that campsite right there. So now I'm snookered. I've got to get to here or here. So it looks like it's going to be a long afternoon. I just had some water, had some trail mix, keep the energy up, refilled the water, so time to get back at her and keep it slow and steady, and hopefully I'll get to a campsite by 5 or 6. But it's going to be a slog today. The energy level's really low because of driving all night to get here, and like I say, I should have probably stopped at the campsite before this, but you know, I was still feeling good, and then, like I say, I lost the trail for a little bit and then came to this crappy site, so no intention of staying here, and that just means my mind's made up. Got to keep moving. And this trail, it will beat you up. It is something else. Really technical, but a lot of fun. Welcome to beautiful Sinclair Cove. What a gorgeous spot. I've only been going about a half an hour, but I decided I'd stop and drink some water and enjoy the view and refill the water, because I think I go inland for a little bit. So like I say, with the heat, I don't want to get dehydrated, but this is just absolutely fantastic. Wish I had my camera. Well, I do, it's just busted. So I just wanted to show you on the map here. Last night, I would have done a makeshift campsite right about that point there, where there's those islands, because I had a view of them. So now I've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. No, maybe an hour 45. Anyway, and I made it to where I wanted to get yesterday, which is this campsite right here. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So I'm thinking an hour and a half of hiking yesterday would have been more like 3 the way I was feeling, and there was no way, even if it only did take me an hour and a half, that would have mean getting to the campsite about 7. I would have been dead trying to set everything up and have dinner. I mean, it just would have been a mess. So it was the right call to stop, even though I didn't really want to. It's certainly a beautiful view at this campsite. That's Barrett Island out there, and then you can see off in the distance more of the coastline that the trail is going to follow. So just going to take a little break, have some more water, keep hydrated, and like I say, we'll see how far we make it today. Really no set destination in mind. It's just you know, the trail will dictate how far I go. How's that? Well, I made it to my campsite. It was actually here very early, but I'll tell you about that in a second. Just wanted to show you the view. Just absolutely gorgeous out here. Stunning, stunning, stunning. But what I decided was I could have continued on a lot further. I actually got here at 11:30 this morning, and I had just come across this section where I had to go down this, I'll call it a rock, but it had to have been a 3.5 to 4 foot drop, and I mean a sheer drop. And I thought, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to do this, when a young guy and his girlfriend came along and he gave me a hand with the pack. So, you know, the trail provides. Otherwise, I would have had to bush rack around that section and come out someplace else. But yeah, there was no way I was going to do it by myself. So we were chatting for a bit and talking about the trail and talking about how crazy it would be if there was rain, and you know, you would have to really either just stop or wait till the rocks dried out, because you could really hurt yourself if you tried to push it in inclement weather. So I am supposed to get a couple of days where they are predicting showers. So I thought to continue on to do, you know, the entire trail and back in the time I had allotted. If there was any rain, that would bag that, and I'd be having long days and getting to camp late, and I'd just be miserable. So I just said, you know what, tackle it another time, pay for the shuttle to the one end, and come back and do it right. Maybe, you know, bring somebody else, and you know, that way you can help each other out in the rougher sections. And I'm here to enjoy myself. That's the bottom line. And the idea of 10, 12-hour days every day just to make it there and back, it's not my idea of fun. So I thought, you know what, let's enjoy the parts of the trail that I can see. Let's enjoy the camp and a backcountry experience, which is really what it's all about for me. And I am going on another hiking trip. I'm doing the La Crosse Silhouette Trail in Killarney. I've done that solo, but I'm doing it with a couple of good buddies of mine, and we've got ample time in terms of the route and campsites we've picked, so that shouldn't be a problem, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Like I said before, it is 2020. Anything can happen in this year. But yeah, I just decided, you know what, maybe I don't stay the full 9 nights I had planned. But you know, now I've got the luxury of just putzing around and enjoying different campsites, and just you know, reveling in that part of it, which is still a great experience. And I'm glad I came. A little disappointed, obviously, but at the same time, I know it's the right decision, because there's no sense in killing myself, you know, just to make that happen. The one thing I'm really pleased with, I had mentioned it before, is the hammock setup. So let's take a walk and I'll show you what that looks like. It's the Mantis Ultralight made by Kamek. All in one, weighs about 2.2 pounds maybe. So that's what it looks like set up. And underneath I've got the One Tigress 45-degree underquilt. And then under that, what's called a Joey sling, where I can put all my gear and keep it out of the rain as well. So that's working really well. Easy to set up, easy to take down, packs away, no problem at all. Really, really happy with the investment. So looking forward to another good night's sleep later on. So the bottom line is, I've got tons of food. I've got tons of cigars. I've got plenty to nip on at night, you know, still a lot of coffee, whiskey, and some Crown Apple. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a good time now and just enjoy the backcountry and enjoy the Superior views, and think about you know, how I would tackle it the next time, hopefully with company, because I think that would be the way to do it. So that's the decision I've made. I'm comfortable with it. I know it's the right call, and I was able to come here and get rid of my garbage, burn that up, do a little cleanup of myself, and feel human again. And so, you know, now I'm just looking forward to the rest and relaxation and solitude.